Now then, Johnny Tudor, the thing is, even when you go around doing other things like getting vaccinated for COVID-19, your past doesn't quite escape you, does it?
I was in a line, right, waiting to go in. It was raining. No, it's snowing, actually, slightly snowing. And there was a huge line waiting to go in. And this woman says to me, "Hey, you that bloke off a telly?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Gavin and Stacey." I said, "How would you recognize me?" I said, "I've got a mask on and it's dark." She said, "I recognize your eyes and your voice."
A gig like Gavin and Stacey, when you get the call for it, well, I mean, do you think, well, this is just another job? Do you realise it's going to be, when you read the script, do you think, well, this is going to be a big one, this is going to be a good one?
Well, I didn't even have a script. What happened was my agent rang me up, and funny enough, I was going to see Ruth Maddock. She was appearing at the new theatre, and I was going to. And my agent rang me up and said, "Look, I got an audition for you in the Royal College of Music. Just go along there." He said they'll have a script. So I went in, and they just chuck a script at you for 10 minutes before you go in. So you just have a quick look at it. And nobody knew this was going to be a huge success, as it was. Obviously, it was just another gig. So I read the part of Dave Coaches. See?
Oh, right.
And they liked what I did, but they said, "Oh, we don't think you look like a bus driver, I said, "Oh, all right then. Well, thank you very much for your time." And
don't look like a bus driver.
Well, because that's what it was. He was a bus driver. Dave Coaches. Yeah. Not that Stefan looked like a bus driver.
He'd be so pleased to hear that.
Yeah, that's right. I think they just had a kind of character in their mind, Yeah. I might have been too old for the part as well, to be fair, because he ended up being Ruth's girlfriend. I'm a bit older than her, Yeah. Anyhow, so I read this part and they liked it. So I'm on the way out and they said, "Oh, wait a minute, come back a minute. Can you have a look at this part?" And it was the photographer at the wedding. So I did that part. They said, "No." I said, "Oh, what about the disc jockey?" They said. I said, "Well, any script?" He said, "No, just ad-lib it a bit." So I ad-libbed a bit of disc jockeying and,
Go on, do it now. Go on, do it now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the next record today will be Shaking Stevens singing This Old House. Whatever I did, I can't remember now. And then anyway, they said, "Okay," and off I go. I haven't gone like half an hour away and the phone goes, "You got the part." So I said, "Oh, what? The disc jockey? Yeah, the disc jockey, they want you to do it." I said, "All right." So I go in, and it was quite a nice part, if I remember. I was getting all the words wrong on purpose. It was in the script. Ladies and gentlemen, please gather round. The bride and groom are now going to take their first dance. Right, we got a special treat for you now, ladies and gentlemen, from the mother of the groom. So big hand for Pat.
It's Pam, actually.
All right, chill out, love. Gavin and Stacey are about to leave, so let's give them a good, well send-off. Kevin and Tracy, I was calling them, things like that, And that was it. I thought that'd be the end of it. I did this nice little cameo, and it was in the wedding scene. It was quite good. And then I get another call. Then, "John, can you come back in? What for? The dish jockey? Oh no, we got you another job now. What am I?" I said, "The bingo caller." Right. So they had this scene in the bingo, which is me doing the bingo. Again, I was ad-libbing, all the sixes, clickety click, and I'm doing all these things. They said, "How do you know all this?" I said, "I worked the clubs long enough to know all these things." I said. All right, Bryn.
All right there, Di?
How are the family tonight, is it?
Well, I'm Dave. Do you know David?
All right, Di. How's it going?
Dave Coaches, Dave. I don't know you, but you know my wife, Maria, from the clinic. I'd send her your love, but we all know where that gets you. And it was a lovely little part again. So I thought, that was it. It's gone now.
That's it.
Next series, get another call. Or you got a cafe now. You got Marco's Cafe at the boss of Marco's Cafe. So I became Marco. It reminded me of when I did Funny Thing on the Way to the Forum. I played a part called Protean, which is Latin for a man of many parts, right? And this is what I was. I was doing all these different jobs. So, I must have recognized it was the same bloke.
So you were different characters, but you weren't just Dave the bingo caller. They were all separate characters.
Yeah, I think the bingo caller was, I don't know what he was called. I know the bingo caller was called Di, I think. And then I was Marco after. But people remember me as Marco for some reason.
Yeah. Working in that environment, because obviously there's a close-knit team, there's Ruth and there's James Corden and Larry Lamb and Alison and all that little gang. When you go into a company like that, and they happen in theatres as well as television, how difficult is it? Do you Do you feel like an outsider?
Well, not really, because the first bit I did was the very first series. So they hadn't been together much themselves, if you know what I mean. And I'm in the makeup caravan getting made up, and I'm sitting next to Ruth, and I'd never met her before. And she said, "Oh, John, thank you very much for doing this for me." I thought, "Oh, it's a pleasure," I said, And he said, "It's another job, love, I'll do it." Because I think what it was, she'd started working in the theatre in Porthcawl, and I think one of her first jobs, and when she got her equity card, was playing a Ninja Turtle in one of Stan Stennett's pantomimes.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Mal Pope.
First, will you please welcome the lady who can thank her fat friends for helping to change her life, Ruth Jones! But you know, your first steps on the ladder, you've got to get a good part under your belt to get your equity card. What was the first role you had?
I played a Ninja Turtle in Stan Stennett's pantomime in Porthcawl.
Yeah.
So, a very demanding role. No, it was specifically to get my equity card, and so I shifted a lot of scenery and came on as a Ninja Turtle at the end.
So being a Porthcawl girl, she probably saw me plenty of times doing panto down there, and she probably thought, "Oh, well, you know, he's too big just to do 2 lines. Nobody's too big to do 2 lines." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every job is good, you know. So she was very nice to me. And then of course, I met Larry Lamb, who was a lovely bloke, and Alison Steadman. I got on great with Alison, you know. I said, because she's from Liverpool, see, Alison. And I love doing the Liverpool accent, so I was doing it. All right there, lad, how's it going? You know what I mean? And we're doing all this stuff. And she said, have you worked a lot in Liverpool? I said, yeah, I did a panto, I said, in Liverpool. I said, I was in the Royal Court in 1972 with Barbara Windsor. She said, I saw that pantomime. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I was in the Everyman Theatre. I was just starting out. She's a bit younger than me, I think. And she'd actually seen the panto. That was a coincidence. Well, I just got on really well with her and Larry Lamb. I mean, Ruth was busy doing her thing. So obviously you don't get close to Ruth when she's working because she's very conscientious and that, you know, and the same with James Corden, you know. But they were all very nice. There was no problem with any of it. Of course, Maggie, John, I knew. I'd worked with Maggie before. She was lovely, you know.
Fifi l'amore!
You know, it's funny, isn't it? You know, you say about you're never too big for a 2-part line. I've met lots of people who, particularly in music, you know, if you get a big tour, you're touring.
Yeah.
I remember Terry Williams, the drummer from Dire Straits. You know, he was with Dire Straits going on these massive world tours, and there was lots of downtime, but everybody thought he was too big or too important or too busy to give him a call. So he had lots of weeks and months when he had nothing on, and he would have, you know, in the end, we put a pub band together called the Trevor Trott Trio. There were 5 of us, and we all made £10 a night, you know, but it was great to play.
Wasn't his father the organist in the Railway Club in Swansea?
Roddy Williams. Roddy was it's in the family. It was in the family, yeah.
And you remember doing the club, and he said, oh, my boys cracked it. He said, he's from Dire Straits. I remember that. Oh, blinking heck.
So you do the first series. It came out, and was it a big success straight away? I'm trying to remember now. Or was it a bit of a grower?
I think, well, it was a grower. It started on BBC 4. Right. Or was it BBC 3?
Was it BBC 3 maybe?
BBC 3 it started on. And it started to build and build and build. And then I think, I'm not sure if the next series actually went on 3 again. And then they transferred it to 1 because it was such a big success. I mean, it was just one that just took off. I mean, and I know why, because it was real. The people weren't trying to be funny. I remember going to a writing seminar once when I was writing a bit of comedy myself, and I went to a writing seminar with Neil Simon's brother, Danny Simon.
Right.
He was in London doing a seminar, so I went, and there were lots of people there, you know, well-known people and so on. And he said, you don't tell people jokes in situation comedies. The situation is the comedy. You play it straight, and that's why it went well because everybody played it like characters. You know, they weren't telling each other jokes. It's funny because what was that series? Oh, Birds of a Feather. That's right. And the writer was there. So is that something in Marx? What are they called? Oh,
the writer, Grant and Marx.
Not
Groucho Marx. Anyway, Groucho Marx.
Anyway, they were there. And they said, there was quite a few of us, there was about 40 people in the room. Would you like see one of our episodes, he said, and perhaps you can give us some what you think about it. He said, well, as long as you don't mind me telling you the truth, says Danny Simon, see. He said, but we must tell you before you see it, it's a very successful series. So his answer was, there's a lot of successful crap on television. That's the first thing he said. And he watched it and he said, it's two broads telling each other jokes. He said, it's not where's the situation here? He said, you got a guy in jail we never see. What, you don't need him. What's he? And they said, oh, well, funny enough, they said that. We tried to sell it to America. They said the same thing. Because if you look at American sitcoms, they're very like Cheers. It was fantastic. I love Cheers.
And there's a laugh every 30 seconds. Or something.
They work it out.
James Corden. Now, James is an interesting character, isn't he? Because, he was, he was in Fat Friends with Ruth. I remember interviewing Ruth about Fat Friends, that they were in together, and then they started writing together.
To Fat Friends, the crew must have been happy, the cast must have been happy to get the BAFTA nomination. You were there with Rob Brydon.
Yeah,
Two people from Porthcawl at the same dinner.
Yeah.
Alison Steadman.
I think, Alison Steadman she's kind of up there for me on a pedestal, because I just think that her and people like Julie Walters, I just think amazing actresses, and I love the fact that they just change with every part that they do. They just kind of really immerse themselves in that character, and that's kind of what I like to do, really.
Well, I hope the new series, because you're doing a new series of Fat Friends, I hope that goes one better and does win the BAFTA. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Jones.
I mean, to see him become a worldwide international star. Were you surprised? I mean, it's not the person you'd probably choose, is it?
No, I am surprised to be honest. I mean, he's a good actor, don't get me wrong, but the Americans have just taken to this character, this personality he's got. I mean, is it the X Factor? Who knows?
I remember somebody came to my studio in Treborth in Swansea, and he said to me, I love this studio. And I'm thinking, is it the snare drum sound? Is it the way we mic up the cymbals? He said, because I can go home for lunch at lunchtime, see? Because he lived round the corner. It was a nice gig for you, because you go for tea.
That's right. The first one we filmed up at it was the wedding scene, and we filmed it up at Thornhill, one of those hotels on Thornhill. Mm-hmm. And then the next one we did in a club in Barry. Funny enough, I'd worked this club in Barry before as a gig, when I did the bingo caller. And then the last one we filmed in Marco's Cafe, down in Barry Island.
I mean, some great lines when you were Marco.
Hiya, I'm here for the job interview. Stacey Shipman?
Can you make tea?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
When can you start?
Oh, Stace!
Sorry, Marco!
Come on, I got 7 Elvises. You're all gasping for a cappuccino.
He had all these Elvises dressed up. It was like a skit on when all the Elvises go to Porthcawl,
Yeah.
And we had some fun.
And of course, that series then goes all around the world, doesn't it?
I know. I'm still getting residuals. It's very nice.
Fantastic.
I tell you what, at the time, I had a good agent, and he must have done this good deal where I get a cut of the DVD sales. Not a cut, but a percentage. Because nobody knew it was going to be this huge hit. So they said, all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had more money from that than from the repeats, because every Christmas they go out and buy them,
Yeah, it's like Alec Guinness, isn't it? They couldn't afford him for Star Wars, so he took some points on the film.
Oh, can you imagine what he made?
Can you imagine? Oh. Do you think, they had the Christmas, you went in the Christmas special, were you? I was disappointed you went in the Christmas special. But there is room, there's definitely room for another big one, isn't there, to come back with? Yeah.
I actually sent her a message. I said, Ruth, it's a lovely, you've got the character, because it was such a long time after the series when they did the special. And I felt that the chemistry between the characters was just as good. And I just sent her a message telling her that. And she sent a message back saying, oh, thanks, John. I'm glad you liked it, blah, 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 blah. Because, I contact her occasionally. She contacts me sometimes. I remember she did a part playing Hattie Jakes. She did a biop of Hattie Jakes, and she sent me a picture. She said, "What do you think of this picture, John?" No, she's a very private person, is Ruth. She's not the type you could knock on a door and walk in and have a cup of tea. And I'd feel uncomfortable doing that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But she's always been very nice with me, and I respect her what she wants to keep at a distance. You know, I've got a phone number, I've got a house address, I've got an email, but I'd never give it to anybody, not unless she told me to, because I think it's bad news, you know. Whereas Larry, I mean, I'll ring him up. Hey, Larry's a good boy. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe you ought to ring him, see if he'll come on the podcast. What do you think?
I've already rung him. He said he'll do it.
Has he? Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be brilliant.
He's with pleasure, John, is what he said. Let me know. I said I'll run it past Mal and we'll work out a date. So perhaps we can get him on next week or something.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. You know, and just thinking about Ruth. You know, she was an actress. I remember interviewing her, as I say, when she was on this program called Fat Friends, and then to move from being, you know, the actor to the writer, it's a big leap, isn't it? You know, not just for her, but for people around you, because people, I keep on saying this, you know, talking about to Ruth Maddock about it, people like to be pigeonholed. You know, think of Ruth as being, you know, Gladys Pugh, not about her being in RADA and being, you know, and all those musicals. It was a big leap for her, and shows a great deal of confidence in her own ability, which is remarkable. You need it in this business.
Yeah, you've got to diversify. I mean, I started writing by accident, really. I mean, how did it come about? Oh, I know. I was working with Peter Edwards. Do you remember Peter Edwards? He was Meredith Edwards' son, and he used to run he was the head of drama at HTV. And I was doing a thing called Dan Revine. It was in Welsh, and it was about the Romans taking over the Welsh. It was a sitcom, it was. And I was talking to him like in the canteen, having a cup of tea and this, that, and the other, about because he'd known me from before as a singer and a performer. And I was talking about the working men's clubs. He said, "You want to write something about that?" I said, "It'd be funny, you know." I said, "Well, I could do it." So he said, "Jot something down for me to have a look." So I wrote something called Starlight Review, which is about a concert party I used to go about with when I was a kid. And he liked it. But he had another, and he put it up to the BBC, and there was two in. That was in, and Satellite City was in, and they took Satellite City. I think they thought that was a bit more off the wall. But years later, Peter Kay does a sitcom all about workmen's clubs. Yeah. So that's how I started, just writing bits and pieces. And then I did, as you know, the Arrivederci Ronda thing came to me, and I did that. But I never thought of myself as a writer at all. Yeah. I still don't really. I'm amazed at the success I've had doing it.
And just before you go, I mean, time to update us with Peg's Boys. It's still going well. That's the latest book from Johnny Tudor. How's it going?
Yeah. It's going very well. I look at the graph every day. It goes up and down, up and down. So somebody's buying it somewhere. You know what I mean? And I've had some lovely reviews, which is really nice. Yeah, it's funny. I remember Dorothy Squire saying to me once, she said, "When you write a song," I said, "I can't write a song." She said, "You don't know, you never tried." And I said, "Yeah, I don't suppose I have really." She said, "It's a story, John." She said, "It's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Write a story. And then if you've got a good story and the lyrics all fit, you've got a song, you know." So it was good bit of advice, really. Brilliant. What do you think about the new way people write songs? They don't put any middle eights in or anything.
No, and they start with a hook straight away, and it's like the world's changed. I don't know, it's gone crazy. Yeah. It's gone crazy, Johnny. Gone crazy. Yeah. But you know, those classic songs, those Frank Sinatra songs, Johnny Mercer, you know, all those great songs, they will last forever.
Well, they're standards, aren't they? That's what it is. Do you know what I miss? Every Sunday, they used to have Don Black on, you know. Mm-hmm. And he used to put all, and they cut his program after like 10 years, and there's nothing that's followed it. So if anybody wants to hear lovely standards on the radio, you know, where are you going to find them? You can't find them anywhere. Yeah. Oh, talking about Don Black, did I ever tell you about his brother?
No.
His Michael Black. He was an agent, and he was married to Julie Rogers, the singer, you know. And I met him on a ship once. We were doing a cruise, me and Julie, and he was on there. We laughed for 3 weeks. He used to come up with this stuff. I think he made half of it up. But the one thing he told me was the funniest thing. He said, "Do you know what?" Johnny said, "I booked a Brotherhood of Man," he said, "over in Malta." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I got a phone call. They said the band can't read the music." I thought, well, I'm an impresario, me. I've had the money up front. I better get over there quick. He said, so I go over. I said, "You got any musicians here?" And the bloke said, "We got an army band on Gozo." He said, "Well, send me some." He said, "They parachuted these out of the air." I said, "I only wanted 6. There was 8 of them. They augmented." See? She said, the bass player picks up the music and he starts to shake. I said, "What's up with him?" He said, "He's nervous." I'll give him bleeding nervous. He got the doctor to give him an injection. He said, back at me if he didn't throw up in the middle of kisses for me. I'm sure he made some of it up. He embellished it, you know. I said, you should be a comedian. He said, I was a comedian. I said, what kind of comedian? I was a footsteps comedian. I walked off to the sound of my own footsteps. He said, I'll tell you how good I was. He said, Percy Edwards got the standing ovation. Percy Edwards was a bird impression. Oh God!
And the other thing about Don Black, you know, I think he was a song pusher or plugger.
He was a song plugger, yeah.
And they got all these songs from abroad that had foreign languages on, so somebody had to come up with English words, so he did. And
Italian songs most of them. That's right. He's written some lovely stuff though.
Yeah.
I mean, if I never sing another song, I used to do that in my act. Beautiful song.
Yeah.
He was very, very good at lyricists, but he was a bit of an agent as well. He was Matt Monroe's agent,
Yeah, amazing.
Well, he was his manager. He was Matt Monroe's manager. And I think he wrote, did he write Born Free? He may have.
He wrote quite a lot. He took a
lot of his hits.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right, well, look, things on your to-do list. Maybe, you spoke to Larry Lamb. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we could speak to Larry in the future and maybe have a bit of a, I don't know whether we're allowed, a bit of a Gavin and Stacey reunion maybe online.
I'm sure I can get hold of Larry. Well, I know I can get hold of Larry, and if Larry will do it, perhaps Alison might do it. Depends how busy they are. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. I know we can get our Mel from Swansea.
Well, she's not too busy. She's like.
That's right.
You go.
She's doing a Pilates. With those eyes.
And the thing is, she's flexible,
I know that.
Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays,
Then my girlfriend was an old flexible.
When? He's at it again. Lovely to see you, Johnny. It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him. See you next week. Ta-da.